marching up to the front lines to take care of this situation. Again, fully outfitted. Shields, face masks. And they're headed towards the protesters right now. Camera's going to get that. We've got the camera. Again, police are headed and trying to get a good read as far as weapons go. I see handguns, batons, and that's about it as far as what they seem to be carrying. Nothing outrageous. They are now forming a line, a barrier protecting the two groups from each other. It looks like they have actually taken place. They have taken the place of the local sheriff's department, and they are pushing forward. Again, they are pushing forward, saying move. They're using peaceful force to push the protesters back. People are mad. Looks like there has been the first physical confrontation that we've seen so far. Again, first physical confrontation that we've seen. 5:08 p.m. We'll keep you updated and let you know if anything changes. We'll be quiet during this because we do need to stay focused and alert. Police do not have weapons drawn. Nothing is pulled. They simply have shields. They are lining themselves in a horizontal line, elbow to elbow, marching forward, saying move. The goal at the end of the day here is to open up this road. This road should not have been blocked. That is illegal. People want to get up the mountain. This has been going on for about a little over an hour now.
Native American. Difference crap right here.
Do you mind if I ask y'all some questions? Your face won't even be on camera. We're just talking. Camera's on that way. So what do you... Cool. You're like the second Hawaiian people I've met today. So what do you think? What's going on right now in your own words?
This is what happens back home in Hawaii. We're protesting stuff that's a couple hundred years old, but it gets mixed in with what's happening today in America, and it ain't. It's the wrong fight. You know what I mean? We're fighting for something 300 years ago. It's not the time.
Yeah, and Hawaii especially, I know there's a lot of heritage when it comes to ancestry, and kind of, like you said, the same thing did happen. So is there a time when you give up and you just give up this fight, or do you think they ever will?
People got to educate themselves as natives. We never had the opportunities before that we have nowadays. So you got to realize that through education that this ain't it. Violence and stuff like this against the wrong government is not going to get what we need.
Are you scared right now? How do you feel in front of this event?
No. There's an Osprey back there. There's special forces in here. Secret Service. I ain't scared.
Wonderful. And do you have any thoughts on the event that's taking place right now between the police and the protesters?
No, not really. I'm just here for the show.
Right, cool. Enjoy the show. We have what?
That's not even Americans. That's fascists. That's not even Americans.
We have one woman being detained right now. Was she screaming in German?
Yeah, she's screaming in German.
Allegedly, she was not speaking English. I didn't hear. But so far, one, I would say, Caucasian female has been detained.
Thanks so much, Liz. What you're seeing now is armed I don't know if they're military or police. The riot shield said police, armed military in camo, engaging with protesters. One has been arrested. Signs have been stripped from them, and they are now clashing right in front of those white vans. If you're just joining us, I'm Jordan Parker reporting live for Right Side Broadcasting Network from Keystone, South Dakota, just about a mile from Mount Rushmore, where protesters have used 3 white vans to physically block the entrance to Mount Rushmore. What appears to be your armed police or National Guard have now arrived with riot shields, as you can see in the camo and the helmets. They have now moved forward to the area where...
Go to the car.
Yes, yep. They're on top of the vans. They are... Another person has been arrested. As you can see. We're going to maintain... we're going to maintain safety here. We're going to do our best to ensure our crew is safe, our gear is safe. Again, this situation is unfolding right before our eyes. We don't know where this could go, but now the protesters are clashing with police. People are being arrested. The National Guard or armed police in camo is here.
One white Caucasian-looking woman.
A Caucasian woman and an African-American male have been detained for the Native American protest. Some signs are being taken from them, and they're being walked back down towards Keystone. Police are ensuring that we stay back to maintain our safety and so that law enforcement can do their job. Again, these vans are going to have to be either bulldozed out of here, they're put on a flatbed or a tow truck because the vehicles have been physically disabled, the tires have been slashed, and or removed from the vehicles entirely. The police said they're welcome to go back to their area where they were protesting before, the peaceful protesting area just around this corner here. They had tents set up, but they decided they were going to move beyond that, block the street, and do what they are doing now. Again, RSBN was the first news network on the scene here. We pulled up just as these vans pulled up, saw the tires being slashed, saw the tires being removed, and then about 30 to 45 minutes later is when these armed men and women in camo that you see here arrived. So the situation is continuing to unfold before our eyes as they attempt to remove these ahead of the president's arrival. The president is scheduled to speak Okay, Gage, keep coming back here. We're going to keep coming back. Excuse us. Want to make sure that our crew remains safe, not in a compromised situation. Again, we're here on the Ground Right Side Broadcasting Network in Keystone, South Dakota, as these protesters have used 3 vans to block the entrance to Mount Rushmore. They either remove the tires or slash the tires.
New car location.
Locked it, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little hectic here. We're doing our best to maintain the safety of our crew while the situation unfolds. It's developing, as you see, live on camera now. So what happens next, thank you, is your and my best guess. More law enforcement continues to show up. We've seen what appear to be National Guard vehicles, 2 medical National Guard vehicles. There are tons of sheriff, tons of law enforcement, ambulance. The works is here. Again, just about a mile from Mount Rushmore is where this is taking place. There has seemed to be a lull in the action. We're unsure what the next move is, but again, a lull in the action here in Keystone. These protesters, if you're just joining us, have removed the tires or slashed the tires on those 3 white vans that you see in the shot right now. So these vans cannot move, cannot be driven under their own power. They cannot be driven out of here. They're going to have to be bulldozed or put on a flatbed, tow truck, something of the sort. But as a physical roadblock for the access road to Mount Rushmore, which is just on the other side of that tree line. You can't see it from here, but I assure you it's there. We've been pushed back by law enforcement, unsure as why, but we assume something is about to happen as they extended the perimeter around where these vans are. Protesters have shuffled locations a little bit. They are no longer right in the faces of law enforcement and vice versa. So we anticipate something happening in the next few moments here. Again, we're doing all we can to make sure our crew is safe, to make sure our equipment is safe, while still bringing coverage of the protests happening right in front of you. More media has slowly started to trickle in, but I assure you, Right Side was the first one on the scene here. We literally pulled up in our vehicles as these vans approached at a high speed. The protesters jumped out. We heard a few large pops, which were the tires being slashed.
The term
explosion. Yeah, we heard what sounded like an explosion.
Pops don't scare me.
True. That's fair. Fair assessment. Pops don't scare Liz, she said, but explosions do. It was quite jarring, I have to say. And tires went down, jacked up the vans. They used drills to remove the lug nuts, took the tires and wheels off the vans so they physically cannot move from their locations, and created this physical barrier. Again, just before they showed up, this was the checkpoint where attendees got ticketed or showed their tickets to go into the event, where the president's slated to begin his remarks in just 2.5 hours from now. But right now, attendees have... Are we upwind? Which way is the wind blowing?
Right now.
That way?
But
okay.
It was blowing the other way. It's going back and forth, but right now it's that way.
It appears they are all reaching into their bags for something. They all just individually did it. It appears it looks like they almost put something in their mouth. I don't know if some of them just got water, but the masks have been put back on. Officially, they are all just kind of messing with their masks right now. It looks like it doesn't know. I'm not sure with military protocol. It looks like they are getting ready to either go in with tear gas. Sheriffs are asking people to step back again. So based on what you see here right now, what do you think is going to be the next action that the police will take?
I think they're going to pop tear gas if they don't move. You see them blocked in on the backside? They made a line on the backside and they're boxing them in. So
It's hard to see. I'm 5'4".
Once they put on their mask, they're going to pop gas.
That's what I have been watching right now. It looks like they're all securing their masks and kind of getting ready for a battle.
Yeah, when you see sheriffs back up, it's gas time.
When you see the sheriffs back up, that is our turn to also back up. Very true.
Wind changes direction. We got a dip because wind's going that way right now.
Yeah.
Wind
Right,
comes back this
right.
way, that's where we're not getting gas today.
Gage. Sorry, we are trying to deal with literal split-second decisions right now. I am in charge of a team of 4 other guys that are with me right now. Fortunately, we did have 2 of my friends with us, and they've been great security, keeping me aware of everything that I can't see myself. We've got
All right, Joe Seals here live at the RSBN studio, updating you really quick as our crew is getting into position now for what looks like to be a push
going on. Again, RSB Network, make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms at RSB Network on Instagram and Twitter. Again, that's at RSB Network on Instagram and Twitter. Right Side Broadcasting Network over on Facebook, and if you're watching on YouTube as well, make sure you're subscribed, like our stream. And I know there's been a mass influx of viewers. So thanks to everyone who shared the stream, tweeted it out, shared it, posted it on Facebook, you name it. We want to thank all of you for continuing to tune in to our coverage here. Again, this is not anything of what we expected to do today. We're, planning on interviewing people, talking to attendees, asking them what 4th of July meant to them, and then showing you the president's address and the fireworks here at Mount Rushmore. But things quickly took a turn, as they often do nowadays. And now you see the situation that's unfolding in front of us. Make sure you're following myself on Twitter at @JordanParker_. Again, that's at @JordanParker_ on Twitter. And you're following my colleague, who's doing a great job on the ground here with me as well, Liz Willis. That's at @LizWillis_ over on Twitter, too. We've been out here for probably over an hour now, watching the situation unfold. Sorry, I can't use more descriptive terms, but we are kind of a holding pattern as these National Guardsmen get geared up to engage with protesters. They're checking each other's gas masks, ensuring they're sealed so they themselves don't get injured. But yeah, the situation I anticipate is about to escalate any moment now. As I mentioned, these vans are going to have to be removed by force, whether it's by tow truck, flatbed, bulldozer, I'm not sure. But they are disabled, their tires have been slashed and or removed. And so they physically cannot be moved. You also see a few protesters there sitting on the ground, a couple of them spray painting on the pavement, it appears, and the majority of the protesters are now on the opposite side of the vans, and I think a few cleared out to the peaceful protest area when the National Guard showed up, as I'm sure many of them don't want to get gassed either. But for the other few who have remained by these vans, they continue to sit there, continue to hold their ground, and square off with the National Guard, just seen to the right of where our cameraman's position is now. But again, gas masks are on, face shields are on, riot shields are up. If I had to guess, the situation is going to escalate very quickly. Again, the wind is at our backs, the wind is going away from us, which is great because if gas or an irritant or something along those lines is, and here we go, it appears they're about to move in. National Guard, you're seeing this live as it happens. We are on the ground, Right Side Broadcasting Network in Keystone, South Dakota, 5:41 local time. 5:41 local time, 7:41 on the East Coast. These National Guardsmen are assembling here just about a mile from Mount Rushmore, where the president is scheduled to have his remarks broadcast to a 7,500 attendees in just over 2 hours from now. But for now, the situation's been put on pause. This is what we are watching. These National Guardsmen suit up, put masks on, and yeah, our cameraman doing an excellent job up on the front lines here, getting you the best shot possible. Again, we have the best shot in media. We are the first ones here, the only ones who have been live this entire time, bringing you this coverage. We're going to stay as close as we can, which ensures our safety of law enforcement. We want to allow them to do their jobs as well without any worries of the media around or other spectators. Again, there are a handful of Trump supporters here. They've remained largely peaceful. They did exchange insults and chants a little bit earlier, although they have quieted down, remained peaceful, and have not engaged physically with the protesters, which is good. And it appears here they go. I think here the National Guardsman goes to our right. Their riot shields are up. They're masked and ready to go. And the situation could spiral out of control very quickly here. Again, Right Side Broadcasting Network on the ground here in Keystone, South Dakota. Oh, and we see an armed vehicle, unsure of what it is. Could be National Guard, could be police, could be SWAT, on the opposite side of the protesters. On the other side of those white vans, probably 100 yards from where we're currently standing. But an armed vehicle has shown up on the scene here. Again, the roads are completely shut down, completely locked off. Still 2 hours and 15 minutes to go before the president's remarks are scheduled to begin. He is going to be wheels down in Rapid City in just a few minutes from now, not too long, as this chaos unfolds here in South Dakota on this day before Independence Day. We are going to be live all day tomorrow as well on July 4th, bringing you more coverage from Mount Rushmore, as well as streaming the President's Salute to America event at the White House on the South Lawn, where there will be fireworks, flyovers, and he will address the nation as well from the South Lawn tomorrow. On Independence Day itself, we will be broadcasting that live, bringing you complete coverage of that event, if it happens, and of course, complete coverage of tonight's event with the President, fireworks, flyovers as well, if that still continues. I assume the President has every intention of making his remarks and addressing the crowd here that has formed, the attendees, but of course, if the situation gets violent and it becomes unsafe for the President or for the attendees, I can only assume that Secret Service will at some point call it off. However, that call has not been made as of yet. Sorry, cell service is also spotty up here. We are literally in the middle of the Black Hills in South Dakota. President was wheels up from Joint Base Andrews a little over 2 hours ago, I believe. About 2 hours ago, the President was wheels up from Joint Base Andrews. I've been told it is a 3-hour and 25-minute flight to Rapid City, where he will then get on Marine One and the procession of helicopters and make his way here to Mount Rushmore again. So that's about an hour, a little over an hour until the President is wheels down here in South Dakota. But until then, for the next hour, we're going to bring you coverage as long as our equipment allows, as long as our safety is maintained, and as long as the situation continues. We will be here monitoring, here streaming, here showing you things as they happen live, on air, uninterrupted, uncut. We're not going to commercial break, don't worry. But yes, Keystone South Dakota, Right Side Broadcasting Network, Jordan Parker here on the ground, covering these protesters that have now physically blocked the road, physically blocked the entrance to Mount Rushmore and the park that is up there. National Guard are in riot shields. They are in gas masks. Up to just to the right of the cameraman, we anticipate that gas may be deployed or some sort of irritant. And okay, here comes tow trucks. As I mentioned, tow trucks or flatbeds are going to be needed to move these vans, as they've been disabled. Their tires have been slashed or taken off, and that is what we see now. 2 or 3 flatbeds are making their way up here to load up these vans, to haul them out and reopen the road as soon as possible. We're going to move off to the side now, let these flatbeds make their way up here. So again, I said they're going to have to be physically removed from the situation, and that is what is about to take place. I have a feeling these flatbed drivers, this is not what they anticipated when they came into work today. Don't think they were guessing they were going to be towing protesters' vans, blocking off the road just a mile from Mount Rushmore. But nonetheless, here they are, ready to go, ready to open up this road back up so this event can continue. Earlier, the police issued a few announcements to the protesters saying this is an unlawful assembly. They needed to move or be arrested. After police and National Guard clashed with the protesters, 2 were arrested. A African-American male and a Caucasian female were detained and walked out. I haven't seen anyone else be detained as of yet, although there could very well be people detained on the other side. The wind is still at our backs, blowing upwind from us. So if there is irritants or gas deployed, hopefully they will not hit us. But again, we're going to stay here as long as safety allows, as long as law enforcement allows, bringing you this coverage live from South Dakota. Here's National Guard, may be about ready to move. They got riot shields. They're spreading out along this line right next to where our cameraman is. They are in gas masks. Some of them have batons with them, making sure they're sealed up, ready to go. And they're able to do their job safely as well and don't get armed. A few of them are putting their gas masks away, so they may not be deploying tear gas anymore, but of course we're watching this live right along with you. What you're seeing is what we are seeing in real time, so I have no further updates for you other than what you are seeing right now on your screen. One vehicle of protesters is leaving. All is quiet here. No shouts, no protests. It is silent, except for the few spectators meandering around, observing what's going on as National Guard and law enforcement kind of calculate their next move. Again, protesters lining up here, Keystone, South Dakota, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Jordan Parker on the ground reporting live on these protests that are happening before our very eyes. Right Side was the first and only media company that has been here since the beginning. We had literally pulled up as these vans arrived. Their tires were slashed, tires removed, and have been broadcasting the events live ever since that began. It's about an hour into this event. National Guard's now here. Sheriffs are here. Sheriff's deputies are here. And this road continues to be blocked just over 2 hours from the president's slated remarks time. National Guard has changed in and out of gas masks a few times. They have their riot shields. It's unclear as to what their next move is, but of course, as soon as we see it, we'll be sure to let you know. And what you are seeing on camera right now is live here in Keystone, South Dakota.
If you are just tuning in, I'm Joe Seals here at the RSPN studio. We're looking live outside of Mount Rushmore as protesters have blocked the entrance to
Law
President Trump's
enforcement
event
speaking to them
tonight.
just off
Back to
camera now.
Jordan.
They're telling us a lot of unknowns here. They're watching the situation unfold just as you are on camera. You have a front row seat to this protest. Unsure as what is about to happen. They're doing a great job of keeping us safe, keeping us back, making sure we're protected, they're protected, so they can protect protect everyone watching, make sure safety is of the utmost importance. But again, situation continues to evolve here. Got about an hour ongoing. This road has been shut down. Attendees are being barred from entering the event. 7,500 people were ticketed out of 125,000 ticket requests. Where those vans are is right about where the ticket checkpoint was to make their way up to the venue where the fireworks, the president's remarks will take place. In the car.
Can you get it for him? I'll hold down the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Liz Willis. We're going to make sure our cameraman, he's up on the front lines, make sure he's safe, hydrated. We're going to grab him some water. Liz, take it away.
Hey. Okay, thanks everyone again. We are taking care of the cameraman right now. He's on the front lines. We are a good distance back. He's thirsty, as he should be. He's been standing in the straight sun capturing this we're going on 2 hours now, roughly. So it's a lot of mask on, mask off when it comes to the National Guard. I don't think anybody wants a physical confrontation. There have been ample opportunity for the protesters to disperse. They clearly have no intention of doing so. Sheriff Department has done a great job just keeping everyone separated. And I would say National Guard has done a good job as well to just be patient and wait until absolutely necessary to attempt at clearing the road so the 4th of July festivities here at Mount Rushmore can go on as planned. I do see a few eye masks going back on, different Guard members. Again, I don't know the heat index. It's 90 degrees right now, straight sunshine, high altitude. It is a hot day, so I can't imagine being in the full riot gear masks that they have on.
What exactly should I follow up with? Just want to know that.
Again, we're Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're here to bring you.
Sounds like we're really close.
The National Guard is going forward. We're being told right now to stay back for your safety, and you can imagine why. There's going to be a physical confrontation here for sure. I doubt that they're going to back off much. And hopefully for our sake, they don't have to deploy tear gas. You can imagine what that's going to mean for us, because it does get everywhere. We are kind of in a confined area here with hills on both sides, so we will get it if that happens. But right now, no tear gas being deployed yet, and they are making their way up the street, as you can see. And they have stopped, probably about 30 feet short of the blockade of vans. We will see what happens here. We hope that this does end peacefully. I hope that they can feel that their voice has been heard and they can go home and let us through. Let the people that are wanting to see the festivities tonight can make their way up here. It's my understanding, I haven't gotten this confirmed yet, but this is also the main throughway for the VIPs who will go to the actual Trump event. In that case, it's going to have to be cleared. There's no doubt about that. You can see they've slowed up, but they're still advancing. They're getting very close at this point. And there's been contact. Contact has occurred. You can hear the protesters slamming up against the clear plastic shield. What we saw earlier when they actually did this earlier, and when they did this, you could see right now they're arresting somebody. So what will happen is they'll make contact and a person may fall through or be pulled through to be arrested. And I'm assuming that they're picking the most violent ones to be pulled through to be arrested. It's kind of a divide and conquer technique that we're seeing here. And it is a slow process because I can't get a read on how many people are behind those vans, but at this rate it would be pretty slow. But hopefully at some point it's the safest way to get this done, because you don't want anybody seriously injured. One at a time like this, probably the least amount of injuries, especially to the law enforcement that has to perform this task. You can see definitely some scuffling up front as they do this. They're very close to the vehicles right now. They're going to have to get past those vehicles in order to bring the wreckers in to get them out of here. And somebody has climbed up on top of the vehicle. And they are stopped just short of the blockade of vans. You'll see coming down the street towards us right now is somebody that they detain. They have the zip tie handcuffs on them and walking them back. At this point, this is Kerry Smith. I'm going to sign it off to Jordan as they continue to clash on the front lines.
Thank you, Kerry. I think you're the best new addition to the right side team. Parker on the Grand Gate Western Broadcast Network. East and Southeast.
Joe Seals back here at the AMBIENT studio. We are awaiting a little bit better audio. Our reporters are inside the car for their own safety, as our cameraman is now closer to the action there. So with our wireless microphone, the range, we're trying to work that out now as we speak. I think we got them back now. Stand by.
Local time right now, 6 p.m. local time. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at RSB Network, and that's Twitter and Instagram at RSB Network. Make sure you're following my Twitter is at Jordan Parker _. Again, that's at Jordan Parker _.